From the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
A crash leads police to a possible kidnapping victim. Good evening, I'm Vanessa Van Hefty. Police say the suspect barricaded himself in his rolled over car for hours. 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo live in Rancho Bernardo, where it all came to a very dramatic end. Laura.
Police say the suspect made a left turn onto this street. You can still see some of the damage left here on the sidewalk. He then hit a white SUV and rolled his car over, and it ended up getting stuck on this tree. It took 6 hours for him to cooperate with police and put the knife down.
Out of the car, Anthony.
Police negotiated with an armed kidnapping suspect for hours after he refused to come out of his car. He was threatening to take his life and anyone around him.
Come out of the car.
It all started after a car accident on Pomerado Road. When police showed up, they found a young woman outside of the car. She told them she was kidnapped. SDPD officers approached the suspect's car, and that's when he threatened to harm himself.
Anthony, come out of the car now.
It took several pepper bombs and a flashbang to get him to cooperate. Police arrested him and they took him to the hospital with minor injuries. SDPD says he and the victim used to be in a relationship. Witnesses say they actually saw a third person in the suspect's car. They say a witness rescued the young woman from the car after she screamed for help. They say she was shaking and crying. Police took their statements and are looking into their claims. The woman who was in the other car was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. She was treated and released. The suspect was identified as 19-year-old Anthony Brewer. The domestic violence unit is now in charge of this investigation. Reporting live in Rancho Bernardo, Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
10 News will stay on top of this developing story. We'll bring you the latest details on our newscast and on our 10 News mobile app. New developments in the deadly terror attack in London. ISIS now claiming responsibility, but investigators have not confirmed their involvement. Today, police arrested 12 people in connection to the attacks that left 7 dead and more than 40 wounded. ABC's Ariel Rashif has the latest from London.
A Saturday evening shattered by brutal acts of terror.
We heard a crash almost.
A big loud noise.
A lot of loud noises.
A white van veering into a crowd on the London Bridge, mowing over helpless pedestrians.
And then some guy come round the corner. I went, run, run, run. They got blades, knives. They're going to stab you, the terrorists. Run. 3
knife-wielding suspects taking off on foot toward the Borough Market, stabbing people at random.
It's indescribable, the state they were in. You never think you're going to see something like that.
Harrowing eyewitness accounts, strangers standing up to the attackers trying to deter disaster.
And then I went, oi, terrorists, cowards, oi. And then I picked up a chair, I was just throwing at them, trying to get him to chase me so I could get them out into the main road, to get them away, draw them out onto the main road so where the police could see them, obviously take them down.
Police are shooting.
Police unleashing 50 rounds, killing the 3 suspects, all wearing fake explosive belts. Authorities raiding residential areas of London, looking to root out any possible accomplices.
Work is ongoing to understand more about them, about their connections, and about whether they were assisted or supported by anyone else.
Prime Minister Theresa May condemning the violence.
We cannot and must not pretend that things can continue as they are. Things need to change.
The Mayor of London trying to reassure residents.
Londoners will see an increased police presence today and over the course of the next few days. No reason to be alarmed.
And to restore some normalcy to a city shaken but resilient. This was the 3rd terror attack in the UK since March, the 2nd in just 2 weeks. A vigil will be held for the victims on Monday. Ariel Rashef, ABC News, London.
Meantime, President Trump is criticizing the mayor of London's response to the attacks. Trump tweeted at least 7 dead, 48 wounded in terror attack, and the mayor of London says there is, quote, no reason to be alarmed. It was in response to an interview the mayor gave, telling people not to be alarmed about increased police presence in the coming days. A spokesperson for the mayor dismissed Trump's tweet, saying the mayor has, quote, more important things to do than respond to Donald Trump's ill-informed tweet that deliberately takes out of context his remarks. And new details are emerging about a heroic London police officer, a man who has only been on the force for about 2 years, faced down those 3 attackers on his own, armed only with a baton. The officer was stabbed several times before other officers were able to shoot and kill the terrorist. The injured officer is now in stable condition in the hospital. And in New York, a show of solidarity. The Empire State Building went dark in honor of the victims of the London attacks. The Canadian government has identified the first victim of the London attack as Canadian citizen Chrissy Archibald. Her family says she worked in a homeless shelter before moving to Europe to be with her fiancé. They're asking others tonight to volunteer or to donate in her honor. Trending now, the One Love Manchester special you just saw right here on ABC 10, raising millions of dollars for the victims of the deadly terror attack at an Ariana Grande concert just 2 weeks ago. That concert featured performances by Katy Perry, Black Eyed Peas, Miley Cyrus, and Justin Bieber. So far, One Love Manchester has raised over $9 million, and the donations are still pouring in.
This is 10 News reporter Allison Ash. 8.7 million people have viewed this Facebook post about an unnamed woman accused of stealing a package off a Santee doorstep.
It's very bold. She gets out of the car like she has every right to go up to my porch and pick up this package.
Tammy Roberts had just installed home security cameras. Ironically, the package from Amazon contained a battery for one of those cameras. It cost $16, but Roberts says that's not the point.
Yes, we had what was in the package replaced, but she's going to keep doing this to people, and she needs to be stopped.
Roberts' Facebook post brought in lots of tips, but so far no arrests. If you have any information, detectives in the Santee office of the San Diego County Sheriff are investigating. Allison Ash, 10 News.
Right now, police are asking for help looking for this woman who's been missing since about noon. They say she was last seen wearing a full-length gold traditional African dress, a gold headdress, and a red purse. She doesn't speak any English. She was last seen near the Laurel Bible Chapel near the 805 and Home Avenue. A developing story tonight. Sheriff's homicide detectives are investigating if a man shot himself or if a deputy killed him during a confrontation. This happened in Campo this afternoon. Deputies got reports of a man threatening to hurt himself. They heard at least one gunshot from inside the house. The 66-year-old man then came to the front door with a gun. Deputies say there was a brief confrontation that ended when one deputy fired. Deputies found the man dead inside from a gunshot wound. It's not clear who fired that shot. The Hesa Road is back open after a 5-acre vegetation fire closed it earlier today. The fire broke out just before noon. Crews contained that blaze before it spread past 5 acres. Several fire engines and even a helicopter helped in that fire fight. No structures were damaged. No one was hurt. New tonight, a Carlsbad family says their son has to be found after disappearing on Thursday. They say a 10 News viewer spotted Dylan Dudowitz on the Oceanside Pier today. Police took him to the hospital and he's expected to be okay. New tonight, protests getting out of hand in Portland. Police had to use tear gas to break up demonstrations this afternoon. It started with a rally in support of President Trump, but hundreds of counter-protesters showed up. At one point, they started throwing bottles and bricks at the pro-Trump group. Officers shut down that park. They arrested 14 people. Tensions have been high in Portland since a deadly train stabbing blamed on a suspect who went on a hate speech tirade right before the attack. New video, a teenager brutally beating an elderly man on the street. How strangers raced to his rescue. Scary moments at the Rock and Roll Marathon. How a driver ignoring the rules nearly ran down runners. And a rock climber reaching new heights. The incredible climb without a single piece of safety equipment.
Cloudy and cool on the coast tomorrow. Skies will be slow to clear through the afternoon, topping out at 69 degrees for your high. I'm tracking when the sunshine will return, coming up in your 7-day forecast.
The pursuit of playoff perfection continues at 11:30 on Valley View Casino and Hotel Sports Extra. Are the Golden State Warriors too good to be entertaining?